Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is August 31st, 2020, and these are the top news stories of the day. To kick things off, we got to give some props to Xbox. Microsoft in general has announced last year that they would be developing Xbox consoles going forward in a carbon neutral mindset. What this means is that products that they have in development, such as the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, before we even knew about the latter for that matter, would have no negative footprint on this earth. Now, carbon would still be used, plastic input that was negative would still be used to create the platforms, but it would be offset by how much good Microsoft, or any company for that matter, would do. So, for instance, what's being taken into consideration is from the very beginning how much plastic is being used, how much electricity will this product use throughout its lifetime, what is the waste like of when this product eventually gets tossed out, the development, the research, the plastic molds, and so forth. How much carbon emissions are going to be created per console, and then what does a company have to do to offset that negativity positively? In this case, whether it's planting trees, extra recycle initiative, and Microsoft has successfully done so with over 825,000 consoles now. We have a little update today on the following image. Instead of having the Xbox One, we could see that it's the Xbox Series X. So if this is Microsoft's strategy going forward with all of their systems, even the rumored Xbox Series X, then that's really nice to see, because gaming is a luxury. It's fantastic. It's my favorite hobby. It's my favorite thing to do. But knowing that my gaming hobby, my passion, doesn't necessarily have a negative footprint on the environment is a good feeling. So this allows us to have the best of both worlds. Have our products that aren't necessarily vital to life, it's not food, it's not air, but does give an awful lot of happiness, which in some ways is more important than a lot of people realize, because video games provide great mental health. So if gaming is your outlet and some people look at it as an item, a thing that's not necessary, you could make a point that, it does help you mentally by satisfying you and keeping you happy and in good spirits. Hopefully, at least, that's what gaming does for you. But regardless, some would say, yeah, but it's a waste of plastic. Well, now you could at least say that if you buy an Xbox product, you're not doing damage to the environment. Yes, damage was still being done to create it, but it was offset by more positivity than negativity. So overall, I think this is good news. It's just a little bit of an update on an older story. And speaking of Microsoft, we learned today that Xbox would be partnering up with Monster Energy for a Halo Infinite crossover. This would include Snapchat filters and, of course, on cans, Monster Energy branded cans, having Xbox Series X, Xbox's Halo Infinite, which got delayed, but still marketing material is going to go out there, and you'll probably see these products on shelves before too long. So that's kind of neat as a little bit of a side of typical video game talk of what you're probably going to see a lot in stores in the coming months. Next up, we have some Nintendo news, which is nice, and that's from the company 8-Bit Do. They create a lot of different controllers. They replicate some old style SNES pads, but make them compatible on Nintendo Switch. You could have some DualShock-like controllers if you're more comfortable with PlayStation format controllers on your Nintendo Switch, and so forth. They develop different controllers, arcade sticks, mini things, mini controllers for a variety of consoles. And their latest product actually looks pretty good. It looks like the old NES Advantage arcade fight stick, which is kind of funny because there weren't a lot of arcade fight sticks back in the day. Then again, you could use the thing for anything, like for Super Mario Brothers if you wished, or for the Rocketeer or Ninja Turtles. Those are some of the fond memories I have of using that arcade stick. But Now, of course, it makes even more sense because really ever since the Super NES, having a fight stick on your console, if you're a fighting game fan, is really nice because you have access to a lot of buttons at once at the disposal of your fingertips, as opposed to just your thumbs and maybe thumbs and shoulder buttons. But this is a good quality stick, and I thought I'd give it a highlight because it's not that expensive. It's $80. You could buy it on Amazon, and it will work for your PC. It will also work for your Nintendo Switch. It will give you a visual change of whether the buttons are representing your PC configuration or your Nintendo Switch configuration. Seems to be good parts. You can swap out things inside, and I'd recommend it based off of the look and my experience with 8BitDo as a company. Again, I haven't used it yet, so I can't actually say, oh, it feels great. Personally, what I use is the Mad Catz Tournament Edition 2 plus PlayStation 5 branded Street Fighter, or PlayStation 4 branded Street Fighter 5 arcade stick. That was a mouthful. And I use that on my PlayStation 4 for Street Fighter 5. And with an adapter from Brooks, I use that arcade stick with no lag on my Nintendo Switch to play Ultra Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. But that was also a much more expensive arcade stick than $80. So, based off of the company's past and the overall look and build of the product slash the price, I think it's going to be something worthwhile, worth picking up. But you'll have to let me know if you check it out. I may or may not, but if you do, definitely let me know what you think of it, and maybe I'll add a second fight stick to my console library, so when I have a friend over, it'll be a little bit more fair, not one of us on an arcade stick and one using the Pro Controller or the DualShock 4 in that case. But yeah, looks solid. Next up, and this is some exciting news for me. I pre-ordered this thing a while ago, and that is the Streets of Rage 4 Classic Edition. Streets of Rage 4 obviously came out on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One a few months ago digitally, but Limited Run Games ended up partnering with them, with Sega, to release Streets of Rage 4 in a physical version. Now, as you can see today, I've got on my Sega Legacy t-shirt, which is pretty cool. Now, growing up, I was primarily a Nintendo fan. Like, I vouched for Team Nintendo for NES, for Super NES, during the classic wars of the 8-bit and 16-bit generation, but I always respected Sega. I didn't dislike them. I just happened to like Nintendo's product more. I still owned Sega consoles over the years, but I was a Nintendo fanboy, and for that matter, still to this day, Nintendo is my overall favorite video game company of all time, and I love Nintendo, but I always respected Sega. Back in the day, still today, they were head and head with Nintendo. They had my respect because they made systems, they made games. The games they made were good. The games they made represented different genres, and that's admirable. You really look at Nintendo and Sega as the true heavy hitters of the video game industry, and only one of them is around in its entirety today, and that's Nintendo from a console, hardware, and software standpoint. But Sega was right there for a good amount of years with, platformers, adventure games, Sonic the Hedgehog, with fighting games, Virtua Fighter, racing games, Daytona. We got a lot of content from Sega back in the day, and one of the games that was a lot of fun was Streets of Rage, and that makes me really happy today because finally on August 31st, 2020, I get my physical copy of Streets of Rage 4 for Nintendo Switch by Limited Run. So I'm going to open this up right now. I was going to do a separate unboxing video, but I thought I'm going to share my excitement live today with you all on this August 31st, 2020, because this came in the mail today. I got a notification in the email, via email a while ago, that this was coming, but still, having it come in today is just kind of an unexpected treat. Now, I got this collector's edition because I thought it was super cool. Here's the sleeve. I thought it was super cool that it came in this old school style Sega Genesis packaging. You know, old Sega Genesis games came in this really cool big plastic box, and that was a lot different than Nintendo's cardboard boxes that housed the NES, Super NES, and eventually Nintendo 64 cartridges. Sega did things differently, and it was pretty neat. Now, I've already played Streets of Rage 4, and I think it's a fun game. I own it digitally, and no regrets there. But now I have the physical cartridge. I'm stoked to play it again. Let's see. Got a cool steel case, too. This is neat. This is fun. Oh, man. Look at that. That's a nice steel book. All right. Get it out of the glare. Got a little bit of a glare going on here. Ah. Cool artwork on the front and the back. You know, these were the types of games that I liked back in the day. Were, well, lots of other genres as well. But the 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, that made up a lot of my fun in my youth. And Sega made Streets of Rage, and that was really solid. Now, Capcom did Final Fight, and we mostly got that on the Super Nintendo. Rare was making Battletoads, and we also had Double Dragon 2, 3, Super Double Dragon. We had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Tournament in Time, Hyperstone Heist. We had X-Men titles. Yeah, if you're a kid growing up throughout the early 90s, you probably liked these types of games as well. I'm looking forward to playing it again, but this time off of my cartridge, which is nice. And yeah, I got this cool fat. It's even got the little gritty plastic around it to make it look like and feel like an old Sega Genesis title. Good times. I'm looking forward to this. I thought I would throw that in there today in video game news, even though it's not your typical news. But thank you, Limited Run Games. Thank you, Sega. I hope Streets of Rage continues, and that in a couple of years we see an even more big, more ambitious Streets of Rage 5. And don't be ashamed, or don't be afraid to bring back some more titles from the past. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing some more old entries revisited. Speaking directly to Sega, and also to Capcom on Final Fight. You know, we got Battletoads recently. That's pretty cool. If you haven't checked out Battletoads, that's on Xbox One right now. So, yeah, let's see more of those 2D beat-em-ups. Eventually, please, a proper, new, good quality Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That's what I want. Okay, last bit of gaming news. It's a rumor. I've discussed it before on the channel, but the rumors are coming up in full force. More and more people are talking about them. We're slowly getting more updates. And this last update that we got today is that expect an official Mario announcement this week. Man, it seems like every week it's just next week. Next week. Eventually it's going to be right, unless everyone is wrong, but I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that Nintendo's got one last thing in store for Super Mario's 35th anniversary, which is 2020, 35 years since Super Mario Bros. Came out, and that we will see this hopefully beautiful Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary 3D collection with Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. Hopefully see it revealed this week. You know, September 13th is the actual date from when the game, Super Mario Bros. That is, originally came out back in 1985. So we've got 13 days before that date in this year. So I guess the final straw is If we don't see it in this upcoming week, the latest I would expect to see it is the 13th of September. And if it doesn't get shown then finally I will be on team. I guess the rumors were wrong. I guess there is nothing of the sort planned. And all we're going to get is probably Super Mario 3D World Deluxe in early 2021 or something like that. And that would be it. I think that's the last straw. Whether Nintendo has a Nintendo Direct or not within the next 12 or 13 days, that's another story. But a Mario Direct, a special Direct Mini that's Mario focused, just a Twitter announcement, a Twitter / YouTube co-announcement. I don't know how they're gonna do this, but I want it big, I want it bold, I want it beautiful. Obviously, I made my wish list video on YouTube a while back of what I'd really like to see in the game. Good presentation, nice menus, give us a nice physical box, maybe a collector's edition that comes with a Mario statue or a Nintendo Switch Pro controller that's red and blue with yellow buttons and stuff like that, to symbolize Mario. I don't know. I'd take anything, but most importantly, I want this trilogy game set to be real, or 4-game set, or whatever it is. But time will tell. I'll let you know as soon as this gets announced. Hopefully, cross your fingers that it does get announced right here on Video Game News with Paul Gale Network. You'll know about it. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. This is PGN signing out. I'll see you tomorrow for more video game news. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.